Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we were talking about one of my favorite types of cards, but one of the more polarizing, that is the rotating quarterly category card. So, this episode, we will break down what those types of cards are, how they work, best strategies, things to be aware of, and of course, are they worth time and consideration on your end to add to your wallet? So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, when it comes to credit cards and types of cards, we have a full playlist that I will link down below for you where we cover secured cards, cashback, travel, you name it. That'll be down there, but again, this is specifically for rotating quarterly category cards. So what exactly is it? Well, I love when things are named exactly what they are. So if you look at one type of card, like the US Bank Altitude Go, for example, that card has a list of multipliers. Those multipliers are fixed, and what that means is it's always going to earn 4x back on dining. It does not change. So on the other hand, you have cards with rotating quarterly categories, which really means at least some of the categories that they have underneath the multipliers will change quarter to quarter. That's usually the way it works, usually the cadence that it works on. So, to expand on that, though, again, these cards are usually the rotating part is going to be the highest multiplier in those categories, and we're going to go through some examples. But these cards can and usually do have additional multipliers that you'll see in the example that are fixed. Now, these are primarily going to be cashback focused, and the big thing here is that they normally have a spend cap on them, right? So, you'll see it, but it'll be like, hey, you can't just get 5x back on everything in that category. It'll more so be, you can get 5x back on up to $1,500 in combined purchases within that category during that quarter. Now, the other categories that it has are usually uncapped, right? But it'll be specified there. So that's what we mean by rotating quarterly categories. Now, we normally tell the categories by one of two ways, or one of three ways, actually. You have something like a Chase where they tell you the categories on their cards, 2 weeks before the new quarter starts. We all on the internet end up making a dedicated video to it. You have something like Discover, who publishes a category calendar at the beginning of each year, so you know what each quarter is going to be ahead of time. And then you have cards where actually it's almost like a choose your own adventure. So, some cards have, here's the list of available categories, then you can either have to go in and make a selection on what you want your top category to be, or sometimes the card issuer is saying, hey, you can use this card wherever, and then at the end of the month, I will make the calculation as the issuer, and wherever you spent the most at, I will give you your 5x back in, everything else will be 1%. So those are really the three types of cards that we have in the rotating space. Now let's take a look at examples here to help, illustrate this point. So the classic one, again, is the quarterly rotating category card, and that is going to be your Freedom Flex and the Discover It Cash are usually your best two examples. So we take a look at both of these here. Freedom Flex, you can see we've got 5x back on up to $1,500 in combined purchases in rotating quarterly categories each quarter. Now, in addition to that, you have B through E, which are set multipliers, right? So these are fixed. 5x on travel through the portal, 3x on dining, 3 on drugstores, and 1 back on everything else. So now the whole thing doesn't rotate, but again, the main superstar perk of the Freedom Flex is that rotating quarterly category piece. You also have Discover It Cash card, again, which does not have any other fixed categories. You're just going to earn 1x on everything else, but it's the same concept. You have 5x back on up to $1,500 in spend per quarter in rotating quarterly categories. So for this one, for a quick example, in June or in Q2 of 2022, the category for Chase was Amazon, which means, you could earn 5x back on up to $1,500 in spend that quarter at Amazon. It's easy because there are no other category options. But moving into Q3, we saw, we have gas stations, rental car services, entertainment, and something else is in there, right? So you have a mix to choose from. So that means you could spend $1,000 on gas and $500 on a rental car, which you'd wish that would have been flipped. But the time of year we are at, unfortunately, not the case. So you can see right there, $1,000 and $500 combined, that means $1,500. So I would earn $1,500 on all of that. Anything else spent in that category, if I spent $1 more on gas, it would drop and default to 1x back for the remainder of the quarter. That's just something to be aware of that. And again, we did mention that Discover publishes their calendar yearly. Chase will let you know 2 weeks before the quarter. They generally send out an email about it. And of course, again, we all make videos about it. Now, the next type of card that we talked about was what I'm calling the Choose Your Own Adventure card. So if we take a look at examples for these, we have the U.S. Bank Cash Plus and the Bank of America Customized Cash card. So first up, we'll talk about Customized Cash. You can see here, this is not a 5X card per se. It can get up to 5 1/4, but that's through Bank of America Preferred Rewards, which I can put a video down below for you on that if you're interested. But what they do here is they say, hey, look, 3X in the category of your choice, this time up to $2,500 per quarter in combined purchases. And then that also includes 3X and 2X. So your first categories are going to be, gas, online shopping, dining, travel, drugstores, or home improvement, which means you can basically pick, right? You have to set which one you want, and then that's going to be your 3X. And you can see you're going to get 2X grocery stores and wholesale clubs. That'll be a fixed one, of course, and 1X back on all purchases. Now, the U.S. Bank Custom Cash, or U.S. Bank Cash Plus, is one of our favorite cards in the game. It's kind of a sleeper because U.S. Bank, while they're a top bank, they really don't push themselves out there that much. But you can see here, 5X in prepaid hotel and car rentals via the travel portal, so that's a locked one. Now, you also get on B here, 5X on your first $2,000 in spend a quarter on 2 categories of your choice. So this is pretty good here because you're getting 2 categories and $2,000, which is higher than both the cards we've just talked about. And the reason we like this is because some of these categories are super, super niche, but some of them aren't covered elsewhere. Like home utilities is a rare one that you don't see that often, right? And because you can pick every quarter, you can kind of change this out and make it work for you. Then, of course, you have the 2X back there as well. Now, again, the last one we have here is the card issuer does the calculation, and that one the best example for is the Citi Custom Cash, right? So Citi Custom Cash, again, it reads the exact same, basically, 5X on up to $500 in spend a month on the category you spend the most in. So unlike the Customized Cash and the U.S. Bank card we looked at, you don't pick, right? What Citi wants you to do is use your card all the time, and then at the end of the month, Citi will say, hey, you spent the most in restaurants, so we'll give you 5X and up to $500, in that. And again, if you do the math like quarterly, it comes out to $1,500, which does match, the Freedoms and the Discovers of the world, right? So the math still stacks up. And so there you have it. Those are the different types of rotating quarterly category cards. Now, again, overall, I do like these cards. So we'll talk about some of the benefits here. I mean, the first benefit is the flexibility of it, right? If you don't like the category, it's going to change in 3 months, right? You also get a lot of options to choose from. Most times you've seen the Discover calendar, you usually get options, right? In addition to that, they're usually seasonally based, so it's not uncommon to get shopping like Amazon or, department stores or something like that towards the end of the year. Gas and travel in the middle of the year during the summer. And again, there's often no annual fees. Every card we looked at has no annual fee, and every card here was a cashback card. Again, gives you flexibility on redemptions. And of course, most of these cards, again, are going to be 5X back, which 5X back is quickly becoming the table minimum, in my opinion, as far as earnings. Now, there are some downsides to these cards as well, in fairness. So on screen, you have a few downsides, but one, you must remember the categories. You must opt in each quarter, especially with the Chase one, right? You have to opt in, which is kind of annoying. Not all category cards publish the calendar fully each year, looking at you, Chase, and then overlapping categories. Which means, a lot of us end up with multiple Freedom cards, or we end up with the Discover and the Freedom cards, and sometimes the categories overlap, which means you can't necessarily take advantage of them. I don't think it's that big of a deal, really. I think it's just more so annoying or frustrating, right? Now, there are some strategies that a lot of us like to employ with these, right? So, I would say, hey, gift cards is another big one. So, when the quarter was Amazon, it's very common that you're going to spend that money on Amazon eventually, or the quarter was grocery stores, right? You can always spend like normal, and then, whatever you have remaining, you can buy a gift card to lock in that 5% back. That's definitely more feasible when you don't have a ton of these 5% cards. Now, in addition to that, when you talk about the Cash Plus card from U.S. Bank, you can kind of, because you can choose, you can kind of game the system. So some people, it's possible to prepay your gym membership in full, right? Because fitness centers were on there, then that's done for the year at 5X, then you switch to something else the next quarter. So those are very helpful strategies. Then with something with the Citibank Custom Cash card, you can basically use that as a utility card. So I use mine in, like, if I don't have a high multiplier, so I don't have a grocery store card this go around where we're at time of taping, so that'll be my grocery store card. You know, it'll give me 5x on some groceries, which is pretty good. So overall, I think the rotating cards are definitely, you know, a powerful tool. I think they provide you a lot of flexibility and functionality in how you build your setup. So personally, these are the types of cards that I try to get as keeper cards long term. Now, even if you don't like them, I wouldn't skip over them because they all do come with sign-up bonuses, and you can always keep them in your back pocket for if a quarter comes up that you can take advantage of, but they don't necessarily have to be your primary card. So anyways, guys, that's been it for rotating quarterly category cards. If you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. Of course, if you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. My question for you guys is, one, let me know how you feel about rotating quarterly category cards, which ones are your favorite, or just tell me I have too many Freedom cards. I'm at 3. I'm thinking about trying to get a 4th one. Is that too many? But we got a 5x all of things, right? Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.